Let me present before you a brief on the law, that is the Antiquities and the Art Treasures Act 1972. The purpose and the object behind this act. As all of us know, India is a very rich country with rich heritage, with rich cultural, religious outlook. India is very famous for wealth, belonging, which is culturally belonging to the nation. That is the historic religious texts, idols, statues, and the fine artifacts which is made from very rare and precious gemstones. So India is very popular. In fact, Indian antiques make almost 75 to 80% of the antique business in the world. So then just imagine the type of the cultural heritage that India is depicted from this. However, from thousands of years, India has been plundered. Its wealth, its antiques, its artifacts, its religious texts, its cultural identities in the form of idols, statues. It's the very identity of its culture, history is being plundered from thousands of years. Post-independence in 1972, we have made this act, that is the Antiquities and the Art Treasures Act 1972, in order to control, in order to eradicate the illegal collection, smuggling and sales through in the form of smuggling. So it is exported illegally. That is, it is smuggled and money is made by the criminal enterprise. This is costing, it is costing the nation like anything. First thing is not only that these antiques and artifacts are smuggled illegally, the cultural identity of our country is actually dependent on these antiques. When we enter into a temple, or when we enter into a palace, or when we enter into any place that is of religious or cultural significance in India, so that is identified by the antiques, by the statues, by the religious texts, and by the type of construction which is involving the marvels of engineering of the Vedic times. So these are all the things. When these things, including the construction materials and the construction of the pillars, the gods' statues, are smuggled, and that smuggling has not stopped till today. It is continuing, and that is costing the nation very dearly, and the coming generation will have no proof to claim that India belonged to such and such a heritage. The temples are becoming empty. Lakhs of temples, the Garbhagriha has become empty. The new idols are being kept. This is the situation. See, from the time the Mughals invaded, they destroyed the statues, that is the antiques. Lakhs of temples were destroyed, and thousands of temples and the palaces were converted into their own religious places or the palaces. And then came the British. They cleared almost 50% of our antiques, including the Kohinoor diamond, which was originally called the Shamantaka Mani, is also right now in the possession of England, legal possession of England, which is illegally taken from India. So after attaining independence, see, ours is such a rich country, even after all these people smuggled, plundered our rich cultural antiques, they destroyed the temple wealth, the religious wealth, the religious texts. In spite of that, even post-independence, we had sufficient materials. But even after independence, the plunder continues to happen. This Act, the Antiquities and the Art Treasures Act 1972, is unable to control. Though it says the punitive action, that is the person who is caught with smuggling, that is who is caught with smuggling of these artifacts, these antiquities, illegally storing and illegally marketing, he will be tried and he will be imprisoned up to 3 years and with fine. But this act is doing nothing in controlling of the continued plunder of the antiquities. Antiquities, the antiques, the religious, they are the religious identifications of a country. They are the cultural identification of the country. The excavations, the treasures in the palace, in the forts and in the temples, they all make the wealth of the nation. In the times of crisis, they become the wealth of the nation. So that is being still looted. And this law, the Antiquities and the Artifacts Act 1972, is unable to do anything much. The loot is continuous in spite of this. So therefore, the government should think some strong law that must be imposed with much higher punitive actions and quicker trial and disposal of the cases. If a smuggler is caught, the case should not, he will come out on bail and he will continue to act in his business, and for the matter he knows the case will take 10 to 15 years of time. So that is acting as an advantage for this criminal enterprise. So if the present government is interested to protect its remaining heritage sites, remaining cultural identities, the leftover religious identities, that is the antiquities, in the form of idols, in the form of statues of gods, our heritage sites that depicts the Ramayana, Mahabharata, our Vedic times, if these needs to be protected, the leftovers needs to be protected, that is sufficient for us. But the government should take a serious note of these things, because according to me, the cultural and religious historical identity depict the nation's strength and wealth. Therefore, we must do everything to protect whatever the leftover, and we must also bring in a law that whatever has been stolen, whatever has been smuggled out of India illegally, must be brought back. In this reference, I had filed a case for repatriation, for returning of the Kohinoor diamond, that is the Shamantaka Mani and the statue of Buddha, and at least 100 artifacts I had listed. So that case came up to the hearing, and there was a representation made to the Prime Minister of India, and that was dumped. So at least now, I hope the present government will take serious note of it and do something concrete legally to safeguard ourselves with the leftovers, and to take necessary steps to bring back all the looted wealth back to India. That is the real wealth which as a nation we can trust upon to talk about our identity, our past history, and in the times of crisis, these wealth which belong to the temples will be of use to the people of India.